I've been debating with myself whether or not to do this video, because I feel in myself like it sounds like I'm being bitchy, but I'm not. It just kind of really illustrates something. So I'm going to do it anyway. Whether I put it up or not is another matter. Before I get started, disclaimer. My views, my opinions, it's called So Says Cares because it's just what's in my head. I speak for nobody but myself. I swear a lot. So with that being said, here we go. And basically, if anybody knows me, well, oh yeah, I go off on tangents as well, so if that gets on your tits, I'm not for you. I do actually have 3 YouTube channels. One I can't get onto, so Nearly Said Cares, where I used to post me outtakes when I first started, but I have no idea how to get into it. Don't know what email address I used. Haven't got a clue. And then I have another one, Have a Go Gardening, right? Because I like gardening. Now, this interest picked up because a few years back, I'd had a row with my daughter. Was walking around, went to the shop, roaring my eyes out, bumped into my mate. Are you alright? I'm like, no, bad. So she says, oh, come with me to the orchard. Now, over the road from me, and down a little bit, about 5 doors down over the road, there's a community orchard, and you'll find out why I put community in air quotes in a little bit, because that's what this is all about. And she used to be a part of the team there, volunteering. Yes, again, it'll all come clear. I will explain this. She used to go there in the afternoon with her dogs, let them run riot. Bless her, she didn't last long after that. And sit and read a book in the afternoons. So she took me with her. It's all blocked off to the community. Couldn't make it up. And I fell in love with the place and got onto the volunteer team. I mean, volunteer, invisible air quotes now. Started volunteering at the community orchard. Right? Now, this community orchard used to be wasteland. And I used to utilise said piece of wasteland because I used to live around the corner. I know, I moved around the corner. Thank you, David Cameron, in your bedroom tank. And it used to back on, my house the back garden, there was a little walkway along the back of the houses, and then this piece of wasteland. And the council said, like, no, we can't be having this. There were it was all overgrown, there were fox dens, it was a state. So they were like, let's do something with it for the community. So this is about as much say as I had before I got involved with it. They sent out a little questionnaire to all the people who backed onto it. What do you want to see done with this space? So there was, things, one of them was an orchard. And I thought, oh, that's nice, but I didn't vote for that. I voted for a communal barbecue-y type meet-up place, like a little park type fandango, so people could go there, and families could get together and have a little play and get to know each other and just have fun. Right? I suppose you'd need it policed in on a council estate, wouldn't you, really? Didn't think that one through. Just thought how nice it'd be for the community. But the vote was cast and people wanted a community orchard. Now, I don't know how many people actually voted for it, but I know the people that eventually got there. And that was literally, I went over the day that they sort of they put a note through everybody's door if you want to get involved. So I went and I put my details down. Yeah, I'll be involved in this. This looks like fun. Gave it to the local councillor lady. I heard nothing past that. Next thing I knew was when I bumped into my mate And we'd gone round there, and I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. It's a little slice of heaven. It really is a little slice of heaven. And so I started going there and helping, and found that I loved gardening. And so I started doing my own garden as well. And I started doing community gardening, actual community gardening. I grew about 40 something tomatoes from seed. So rather than, I couldn't chuck any away, couldn't do it, just couldn't do it. So I potted them all up at my own expense, bought all the soil, bought all the pots, potted them up and gave them to my neighbours, right? And I'd got 3 different sorts. So I gave, like my next door neighbour, I gave her one of each sort. And, you know, so the people close to me, I gave them one of each sort. And then other people, I'm like, do you want a tomato plant? Knocking on doors. Do you want a tomato plant? Gave people 3 tomatoes. That's what I thought this community thing was about. This was years ago. Then the girl that introduced me to it, basically, the other people who run it did not like this woman. They got her out, but we'd put in a request for some topsoil. We needed topsoil, and that I got offered some topsoil by Marks and Spencer's. I don't know whether I should put that on there. Tie M&S in with it. They weren't to know. They basically gave us thousands, came out, big old fun day. Basically, they were going to shut down the orchard, but because I got this whole thing involved, spark some joy or something like that, spark some joy, spark something good, something like that. Spark fucking Marie Kondo in it. So basically, the orchard stayed open. This girl got removed, and the people who were running it, who wanted her out, went back running it. Now it's run by these people. Right. I was in there, I was like, yes, community, let's go. So I got all these ideas, right, well, we could go round, we can knock on doors, we can ask people. Turns out, I mean, I did it for a couple of years. Then in the end, I gave up. It was a case of, I turned up, there was whispering, and when I went near, everybody shut up and went, oh, see the Bears game last week? Hell of a game. You know, like they were talking about me. I wasn't wanted, right? And despite the fact that I do this, I do have, in certain areas of life, fragile mental health. And where it comes to other people, that's where my mental health suffers. So, like, I get offended by people talking about me behind my back. Right, no, not with things like this. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But when I get close to people, if those people stab me in the back, that fucking hurts. So I don't get close to anybody. I do everything public, like, well, on my own. But I let everybody see everything all at one go. It's just easier for me, and I don't care what people say about me with that. It's when I let somebody into my heart, and then they start slagging me off. That's when it hurts. And so I broke down. I was like, and they knew what they'd done, because they didn't even ask me why I was leaving. And literally, anyways. So at the beginning, I'd be like, oh yeah, well, let's do this. Let's go round, knock on doors, get some interest, and blah, blah, blah. Not interested. By the end of it, a couple of years later, they're like, right, well, we need to do a fun day or something, because they have to do a couple of days a year, but contractually they have to be seen to be a part of the community. So they'll have an open day, right, where people can go in if they want, and they'll put balloons outside. It's off the road. It's not advertised and whatever. We got in, there's a chap on the radio, a radio presenter, who has, has been involved with them in the past. I'm like, right, let's get on to him, see if he'll put it on the radio. They're like, like in group chat on WhatsApp, they're like, no, no, like everything that I said, they were batting me down. They're like, no, too many people will come. And it's like, but we want the word out there. This is about the community, is it not? And it's like, no. And like, literally, it's like, look, she ain't like us. It's very much, and now I do need it said, this isn't against these people, right? They are cliquey. It is their group, right? and I didn't fit in with that group, but they are nice people. But they are nice, and I don't wish them any harm whatsoever. I just didn't fit in with them. I wasn't part of that clique. I'm different, you know, like, and my ideas didn't fit in with their plans for it. So I had to go, and I took myself out. I was the trash that took myself out. I've been over there since, and the lady, because there's one lady who basically is the boss lady of the whole thing, and she's like, well, you know, you can come back whenever you like, but you've got to work. And it's like, that's not very inviting. Do you know what I mean? Can I not just come to see you? Just pop in for 5 minutes and say, oh, how are you going? How's it going? What you got going on here? I've got multiple sclerosis. I ain't the most able-bodied person in the world. And it's like, I've never been back since then, because it's like, well, do you know what I mean? Now, the last time, when I actually left, they turned up after the Harvest Festival at the end of the year with a tub of produce and said, oh, this because you did some work there this year, these, you know, you planted these things, so here you go, but this is the last, you won't have anything else because you don't contribute. Fair enough. Cracking. Free veg, smashing. But this is where I'm getting to the old community fandango, volunteer fandango. Now, the other day, because I set up a Facebook page so that I could share photographs of it, because I was in love with this place. Still am. I miss it terribly. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is a little haven that nobody can touch. It's heartbreaking, and I do miss it. It's like an entity, like a friend, like an old friend. Do you know what I mean? I got nitty gritty with the bastard. Do you know what I mean? I helped literally transform it into what it is now, that nobody can, like, all of the people that live around it, nobody volunteers. Nobody gets anything from that. Basically, it's a group of people, a clique, if you will, and they're in, they are part of the community. They're very community. They're in the book club together. They're, you know, like, they go to the community centre. Community centre is incredibly, what's the word? Off-putting kind of thing. You know, like, intimidating for me, because I don't know anybody. And, like, literally, I know these people, but I know they don't like me. So I'd rather not be there. You know, it's that schoolyard feeling of, like, these people. I know that they talk about me behind my back. I know that they've called me names. I know they've had their nose in my business. And, yeah, so I'd rather not, you know, like, be involved in anything to do with the council, because the council is all vanity projects and shit like that. It's not about community. Look, there are so many people on this street. Like, literally, this is a big old street, and you've got all the people that go all the way around the back. None of them are involved with this place. It's a group of, 5 families that basically run it. It's their allotment. That's what I'm saying. It's an allotment for a small elite group of people. There's nothing community about it. The most community thing that I know that they do, like I say, they might have all changed their personalities and their whole raison d'etre, like, in the past couple of years. They might have completely changed it, but like I say, I live over the road and I've heard nothing. But when they'd done a surplus, they'd give it to the community centre, where it would then be put into dinners and sold to people on lower incomes for cheap. But still, money was involved. Now, I don't like money being involved in anything wherever possible, which is why when I gave away my tomatoes, I bought everything and just gave them away. I didn't even ask for the plant pots back. Nobody, not a single person offered them. I learnt a lesson there. I learnt a lesson. It cost me a fucking fortune and I didn't even get a thank you. But that's not. But I've got people that, like, I made their day at the time. That is what it was about. And also people got some free veg and realised, well, actually, it ain't that difficult. All you do is put water on it and take the fruit off. Like, why don't I do that? Hopefully that's what happened. That was the intention. Anyways, so that's the extent of the volunteering. The most I did is like one day, because they do Sunday morning. I don't do mornings. I ain't a morning person. So I do Sunday afternoon